voters this year. The polls have only been open for 5 days, and numbers are nearly as high as the last presidential election.
News 18's Micah Upshaw talked to voters to see what's driving them to the polls.
The number of voters at the polls this year is beyond what the election board planned for.
We plan for what we think will happen, and this one has gone way beyond our planning, which is exciting.
According to County Clerk Krista Coffey, the number of early voters at the polls each day is just 15 to 20 people shy of how many voters came out early for the 2016 presidential election. This is odd for a midterm.
Well, midterms typically aren't very exciting, which is kind of sad to say because they're important offices, but this is the first time we've had a contested Senate race that wasn't also on the presidential cycle in more than a decade.
Although it's still too early to determine what's driving people to the polls, Coffey says it could be a combination of factors.
Are these election day voters who are voting early now because they've discovered the ease of it? Are these people who voted Payless but they're now voting in the office or off-site? It's an interesting dynamic, and I'm not sure what to make of it yet.
Some people at the polls shared what brought them out for early voting.
One thing I think is very important and a privilege to vote.
Well, I vote every year. Every year there's an election. I think it's really important, but I think this year is even more important.
What chatter I hear when people are waiting in line, most things I hear are local races. There's a very competitive local ballot this year.
Coffey says traditionally Tippecanoe is an overall Republican county, but as the city is changing and growing, the voter demographic could be different this year.
It'll be an interesting result because with the volume in a midterm like this, it just will be fascinating to see where the voters landed.
Coffey says the election board will take a deeper look at the numbers at the end of the week. Reporting in Lafayette, Micah Upshaw, News 18.
As for that contested Senate election,